This is your chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerned. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good
the
evening,
show.
Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Everyone, there you go. There I am. Oh my gosh, almost forgot to add myself there. Good evening, Cayman Islands, and to our Sabrina Speak family tuning in near far. It's Friday the 13th. What a mess. But it's still another good day here. Another informative and exciting episode of Sabrina Speaks. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, because we're voices of the islands, conversations for the world, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. Yes, it's Friday, it's fabulous, and it's Valentine's Eve. Now, whether you're feeling the love or dodging Cupid's arrows, I know one particular hairstylist who keep dodging them and hoping that one will land one day. I pray for you, my friend. I pray for you all the time. But we gotta go through our training first. Or maybe you're just here for all of the chocolate-covered gossip and civic knowledge. Guess what? You're tuned in. You have landed into the right place, and I am having a ball on this Friday the 13th, and I'm hoping that you've had a good day as well. Well, if you're just joining us, first time, welcome. I'm Sabrina, and it's Open Mic Friday here on Sabrina Speaks. So that means the lines are open, the vibes are high, and your voice is what we're really here for. So maybe you got a story to share, or maybe a shout out to a sweetheart, a loved one. I see you up there. Or maybe it's just a little Friday rant to get off your chest. Guess what? I'm always all ears. You can call me and be a part of this live open mic conversation. Yes. 345-936-8255 is the number to call to get me. Or you can also WhatsApp your message there as well, or whatever social media platform you're streaming on. Put your messages there as well, and I'll definitely do my best to get to them all. The content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and or participants, is intended solely for general informational and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional legal, medical, or financial advice. I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. Like I said, 8255 is the number to call in to be a part of the conversation this evening. And I'm looking forward to hearing some from all of you, actually, but also to find out how much got multiple bouquets. Yeah. I want here to discuss. That's why it's open mic. Before we get into that, let's let you know, just in case you got plans for the weekend, plans for tonight, this is what's happening. Thanks to our weather guys over there at Cayman Islands National Weather Service. Let's tell you what it's going to look like. Now, the synopsis calls for moderate winds and seas are expected over the Cayman area as a ridge of high pressure persists over the Northwest Caribbean. The chance of showers remains very low due to a relatively dry atmosphere. Satellite imagery shows patchy clouds across the Northwest Caribbean. Tonight's forecast calls for fair skies with a 10% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall near the low to mid 70s. Winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Tomorrow's forecast calls for partly sunny skies with a 10% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the low 80s. Winds will be northeast 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. There will be a high tide at 7:17 this evening and a low tide at 1:48 a.m. Another high tide is expected at 8:35 in the morning. Sun will set this evening at 6:23 and sun will rise tomorrow morning at 6:55. And because it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, you want to take in that sunset because you're just going to do it different this year? Sun is going to set at 6:24 tomorrow evening. But the outlook is for gentle to light winds and moderate to slight seas from Sunday through Monday as the high pressure ridge slackens. So there you have it. Go free, go make your plans. And if you just remembered now that it's actually tomorrow, you're not too late. I just told you. Let's say happy birthday to all of those persons celebrating birthdays today. We want to wish you lots of blessings and many, many more birthdays to come from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family. That includes all of those who may be celebrating wedding anniversaries and probably some coming up not a long weekend, but we got a short week. Wednesday's Ash Wednesday. We will not be having a show on Wednesday. It's a public holiday. But maybe you have a birthday that's coming up over the weekend. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy life, whatever it is you're celebrating. From all of us here at the Sabrina Speaks family, we want to wish you nothing but the best. Yes. Now, even though it's Friday the 13th, I still got to bring you the stories that matter from our shores to the world stage. So whether you're tuning in from your car or even your kitchen, from your cubicle, or maybe you're just finishing the touches in somebody's hair, I'm going to get to you. I got your 360 fix right here. So let's dive in Sabrina Speaks style. We're going to start, unfortunately, with breaking news and developments of the tragic development out of Georgetown this morning. Royal Cayman Islands Police Services are investigating a fatal stabbing that occurred in the early hours of Friday, February 13th at the intersection of Mary Street and Macfield Lane. Shortly after 4 a.m., officers responded to reports of a fight involving multiple individuals. By the time authorities arrived, 2 men had already been transported to the hospital by private vehicle, both suffering from stab wounds. Tragically, one of the men was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The second remains hospitalized with injuries that are believed to not be life-threatening. In connection with the incident, the police have arrested 4 individuals, 2 men aged 19 and 24, and 2 women aged 24 and 25, all residents of Georgetown. They are currently in custody on suspicion of murder and affray as investigations continue. Mary Street between Shedden Road and Fort Street was temporarily closed this morning to allow for full forensic examination of the scene. Detective Superintendent Peter Lansdowne extended condolences to the victim's family and urged witnesses to come forward. He emphasized that several individuals were present during the altercation and left before police arrived. Quote, "We have established methods of protecting witnesses if necessary," end quote, he said. Anyone with information is urged to contact the major incident room at 649-2930. That's 649-2930. Anonymous tips can also be submitted via the RCIPS confidential tip line at 949-7777. That's 949-7777 through the RCIPS website or via Cayman Crime Stoppers. As always, we'll continue to follow this developing story and bring you updates as it becomes available. And in other local news, the Progressives are calling foul on government's 2026 budget. Opposition leader Joey Hughes says the coalition's credibility is in question after Premier Andre Ebanks admitted that some newly introduced fees meant to fund the budget are now under review and may not be collected. The PPM says they warned this would happen, citing a lack of economic modeling and consultation. With small businesses pushing back and fee collections in doubt, the government's financial strategy is under serious scrutiny. More on local news, we turn our eyes to the Agricola roundabout. Yes, we're giving drivers a heads up. Now, the new roundabout at Agricola is still a work in progress. The asphalt that you're seeing there is just the first layer. It's temporary, and it's temporary to allow the laying down of pipes by Water Authority and as they complete their upcoming pipe upgrades. Now, once that's done, the final surface will be applied. So the public is asked to exercise with caution, care, and patience until smoother roads make their way. There you have it. Turning our eyes now to more local news, the Central Planning Authority has officially rejected a proposed $55 million mixed-use development that would have replaced the Black Pearl skate park in Grand Harbor due to unresolved traffic concerns. For now, the skate park stays and the community breathes a sigh of relief. More local news, look to the horizon this weekend. The RRS James Cook is docking in Georgetown. Now, this cutting-edge research vessel is a historic mission exploring uncharted waters across Anguilla, Turks and Caicos, and now the Cayman Islands. With 44 scientists on board, including our very own Kelly Forsyth, the expedition is part of the UK's Blue Belt program, gathering vital data to protect our marine environment. Turning our attention now to regional headline news in the Caribbean, Mia Moore-Motley has been sworn in for the third term as Prime Minister of Barbados after another landslide victory. The swearing in that took place at the State House before President Jeffrey Bossack, with family and dignitaries all in attendance. Her leadership continues to shape the region with strong focus on climate action, economic resilience, and Caribbean unity. Now, meanwhile, Ralph Thorne is stepping down as leader of the Democratic Labour Party after its third consecutive election loss. The DLP now faces a critical moment of reflection and renewal. Turning our attention still in the region, Jamaica's new budget includes nearly Jamaican $30 billion in tax increases. Finance Minister Flavia Williams says it's a tough but necessary move after Hurricane Melissa's economic blow. The biggest hit is Jamaican $10.1 billion tax on sweetened drinks, plus hikes on cigarettes, pure alcohol, and tourism activities. It's the first major tax hike in a decade, and it's already sparking debate across the island about fairness, timing, and economic recovery. Now, the U.S. Navy's most advanced aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald R. Ford, is preparing to leave the Caribbean waters and head to the Middle East. The redeployment signals a strategic shift amid rising global tensions. The Ford has been a powerful presence in the region, and its departure is sure to be noticed. More here out of the United Kingdom. Just let me get some images up here for you. We have more information coming out of the UK. Now, Sir Chris Wormald has stepped down as cabinet secretary and head of the civil service just after 14 months. Now, the move, described as a mutual agreement with Prime Minister Keir Starmer, comes amid mounting political pressures and a wave of resignations inside Number 10. Wormhill's exit makes him the shortest serving cabinet secretary in the United Kingdom's history, and speculations is swerving that Dame Antonia Romy could become the first woman to take the role coming up next. And we got some feel good. You know, I'm always about the feel good part of giving you all of the latest news here. And it's all about Switzerland. Yes, Switzerland is heading to the polls this June to vote on a bold proposal capping the country's population at 10 million. Now, the initiative, led by the right-wing Swiss People's Party, aims to curb immigration and protect infrastructure and the environment. But critics warn that it could spark economic turmoil and strain ties with the European Union. With the UK also facing population pressures, some are asking, should Britain consider a similar move? And you know, it's all about that Feel Good Friday, and we always got some really nice stories to share with you. Today's no different. As we head into Valentine's weekend, here is a story to make your heart smile. A woman in the United States struggling through a tough time shared her story online. A stranger from Italy reached out, and what begun as a message turned into a deep friendship. Yesterday, they met in Rome for the first time, and it's a beautiful reminder that love isn't just romance. It's connection, compassion, and showing up when it matters most. Now, there you have it. That's a wrap for today on Cayman's regional and international news right here, doing it Sabrina Speaks style. And again, it's Open Mic Friday. We want to hear from you. 345-936-8255 is the number to call. Yeah, if you want to join in. Hey, Connie Bonnie, you're the first one to comment. Welcome, welcome, welcome to you. We are a kinder, gentler space here. Yes, we try to do that. She got Valentine's Day flowers. You seeing the flowers there? They don't know flowers. They're balloons. Not yet. I don't want flowers. I could be honest with you. I like the just because. These are for you guys, all of you guys. Yeah, see? But I tell you a little story. I was out today. Let me big you up first. And I witnessed a lot of things. OMG. Looking lovely in red in your background. Yes, that's the theme of love. Today and every day. But today I did a little special. And thanks to my friend. I got a very special friend. I just walked in and told her that I needed my front touch up. Oh, yes, I said that on this space. And she fixed me up good and proper. I just love her to death. See you in March. Big up to Marshall in the house. Yes. Marshall is here. Oh, your birthday's tomorrow? My birthday tomorrow? Marshall, you were 14th. I gotta double check you. You on the 14th. So you're getting older. You admit it on the day of love. Oh, yes, I'll be sharing lots of love with you. Happy birthday when it comes. I'll definitely be picking you up because I know you're not one that is like, oh my God, she got me plastered all over social media. But yes, I'll definitely come touch base with you tomorrow, Marshall. Yes, from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family. And I know they're going to join in the celebrations as well as we celebrate life and love and everything that goes with it. Marshall. Damian Henry, happy Friday. If you believe in yourself, anything is possible. Close with you, Damien. You are so right when it comes to that. Jimbo's in the house, Connie. Jimbo is right there. Hello to you, my love, Connie, and to all. He combined it into one. No, Connie, it's not separate no more. The space kind of getting crowded. Jim must say, Connie, you can't please these women. What's wrong with her? Well, see, Jimbo, Connie sharing the love. Happy Valentine's to you too, my love, Deborah. Going to be 22. Oh, you made a typo. 52. Yes, that's there. Happy 52nd birthday, Marshall. In denial, as much as you wish you were 22. Half you older than me. Oh my God, I could tell that. Yeah. Oh yeah, Connie Bonnie. We got to share it up here. Got to share it up here. Definitely. AJ, Marshall, 65. You might be want him dead. You can't see. You can't see his thing. He's 22. Poor brute. I swear, if you were to really ask Marshall what his true age is, he would probably have to think of it. From school, he's never really admitted we are aging gracefully. I know I embrace mine. I'm too happy. I am too happy to actually just take whatever it is that comes my way and take it in strides and just continue to walk in faith. But yeah, you're quite right, AJ. 65. He not a five. No, the back number isn't that high yet, but the front number isn't that high, but the back is correct. Yes, he gave you a bit. This is almost like a puzzle we got to sort out here. So you got the 5 right, and he got the first 2 wrong. We're not going to talk Marshall's business at all here on this space. Not at all. Not one bit. But yeah, you're on the right track. You're on the right track. But it's good to be here with you today. I did manage to venture out today. This is what I love about Open Mic Fridays, because like I said, the phone lines are open. We can go wherever you want with it, but it gives me an opportunity to as well let you steer the conversation, let you constantly chart its course. And of course, it's the end of the week. We can recap some of the stuff. If you needed more explanation on it, pop me a line or give a call, and we can go there. I feel it's right for the space to allow at least one day that's designated for you guys where it is your platform. You chart the course. I know it's a busy weekend, but there'll be other Fridays, and we have to be consistent here. But the roads were crazy today. It almost felt like, the last day before, that would be like Christmas Eve then, where you get all the government buildings closing down like half a day, schools are letting out early. It seemed like one of those days today. And I did notice a lot of persons out doing deliveries in their red shirts, and you could see a lot of bouquets going into various operations and stuff, getting deliveries. I actually caught sight of a gentleman as well making a very special delivery as well. And I thought that was very sweet. And I know of friends who are doing something extra special. I did get some messages last night that confirmed what I said in regards to sharing the love, being reciprocal to our male parts as well. Hey, Annie, how you doing? So good to have you here with us this evening. And I do have some friends who they would always take care of their significant other, but I got the feedback that, it gave them a minute to pause, because even though as women, we expect that, but many times now it's like men are taken for granted. And, even though it's Valentine's Day, we knew we had the whole discussion yesterday, and I respect all perspectives that were actually presented, because that's just how I am. And I feel you have a right to speak. You have a right to your opinion. But I really feel that love should be expressed all the time. Actions, no matter how big or how small it is. But just how we as females like to receive it, I feel it should be equally shared. And you need to express that to your other partner as well. And tongue and teeth will meet. My grandmother always used to say that. A tongue and teeth will meet. But hey, there's a reason why you're still there. If you're still there, you're hanging in, and there's a special place in you, show it every now and again. It's just good. But it was amazing to see, no different than any other Valentine's, that the flower stores were crazy. I went and I picked up the balloons for the backdrop here, and it was mayhem. Definitely at EBT because it was convenient on my way home. And the traffic, as I said, was just crazy today. So I'm hoping and I'm wishing everyone a happy Valentine's weekend. And to all of you who are just enjoying you for Valentine's. Self-love is the most rewarding thing, and remembering yourself. But people don't get enough of love. You can't give too much love. Some people says, look, straight up, I would prefer a gift certificate because it takes a lot to maintain this, right, Carol? Takes a lot. But yeah, but gratitude and appreciation and expressing that is key, I feel. And sometimes just vocalize, just say some sweet things. Sometimes we get so caught up in life that we forget to just stop, exhale. Let's say something sweet. Let's do something nice. And yeah, Valentine's commercialized. It is what it is. People are in business. They're in the business to make money. Yeah, they're going to capitalize on it. But what if this is a day to start a new beginning, to make you really change the way you show love, appreciation to that special person or persons in your life? And that includes even your kids, even your mom, even your siblings, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins. We can show this to anyone, the neighbors, a shut-in who may have been celebrating or going through this Valentine's after a loss of a loved one who was a part of their life. You can spin this to how you want, and it doesn't have to stop tomorrow. It can continue. So yeah, I want to hear from you. The lines are fully open. If you got something on your mind, please, or even a shout out, or maybe you got a hot take on something, on a story you want to share. I want to hear from you. 345-936-8255 is the number to call to make your voice be a part of this. And I told you that even though I want you to be a part of this, the phone lines will be open today, and I'll accommodate as many calls as possible. Good evening, caller. You're first. Welcome to Sabrina Speak on this happy Friday, Valentine's Eve. What's on your mind?
Hello, Sabrina.
Hi.
I'm doing good. I was just thinking about Valentine's Day and gift giving. And honestly, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I think the best gift to give a woman that you truly love is guns. And I think that
What you
we
just
should
said?
legalize
Repeat it again.
guns.
Tell me where you come with that now.
So hear me out, right? In the United States, guns are legal. And guns provide a lot of security and safety. And it gives a sense of, freedom, right? So, like, if a woman's walking down a dark alley at night and somebody tries to rob her or try to kill her, she has a way to protect herself. I think it's the gift that keeps giving.
Taken two.
So,
Taken two.
Yeah, and I guess that's one of my biggest pet peeves with Cayman is because they made guns illegal. Because
the guns are not the problem. The guns, it's whose hands they're in and for what reason. I'm going to be honest with you now, how that was brought across. You're going to have to give us more context because I don't want anybody to take you wrong. Okay. You made a statement that the guns are a gift of giving, but it all depends on what perspective you're taking that from. Because I know here, and you're hearing, take a look at the United States of America and for the high rate of gun crimes. And they have actually made that legal, almost open carry in some states. And you check the highest states of gun crimes. Almost every time you turn on the news, they're all range just going in and killing people stupidly. And I understand what you're saying from one
perspective. You know what a soft target is?
I know exactly what a soft target is, where someone is unaware and clean aim, and you got them. They're
No,
unaware. They're
it's
unaware that.
institutions or places that don't have guns.
Pardon me.
And most of the they're institutions or places that don't allow people to carry guns, like concerts, schools, public beaches. Those are what you would call soft targets.
Open
And
places.
most of
Yeah.
the time,
Mhm.
yeah, places where you can't normally have guns, that's where you find most of the gun violence.
Okay. Schools,
Like
churches, and all
big
that.
school shootings.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So a simple solution to that is to have people own guns in those places. And that's what America's doing right now. People are having guns, and the administrators in Texas, they're enforcing laws to have teachers armed with guns.
But
And
is
ever
that the
since they started
society
doing
that we're
that, gun
creating
crime has gone
instead of
down.
world peace? Here we are calling for love, trying to celebrate love. And there's just so much hate. Again, I go back to what I said. It's not the guns that are the problems. It's what's happening in people's heads. Before you conflict resolute, I'll just end your life. I mean, it's to the point where
do you think criminals care about laws?
I don't think they give it for a second thought, but there's a consequence for their action. The mere fact that they're labeled as criminals means there's something wrong. And anyone who carrying a weapon that could kill, I could have a machete. I'm living here in the Cayman Islands. It's quite norm for us to have a machete, especially if you're a farmer and all that sort of stuff. And that's illegal to have that in your vehicle. Now, because I'm a farmer doesn't mean that I would use it to kill. But I tell you what, if for something or some reason I have been approached or I feel like I'm in danger, that's there for me to protect myself. What is happening with guns, based on what you've said, is that I think we need to have better controls. Obviously, something is wrong. The mere fact that you can pretty much go to the supermarket or in some stores in certain states, if not all of them by now, and just buy them off the shelves. And we see the stats are not lying for how much people are losing their lives because of gun crimes. Something is wrong with the world, bottom line. And I must be honest with you, unless I'm doing it for sports, I do shoot. I have traveled with Eric, and we have gone, and I've done it as a sport. But I'm mixed with actually having it on me, despite me being once in a very high profile position, and that the risk off of me still has not lessened. Okay. But
like I said before, and I'll reiterate again, most of the crimes that have occurred in the United States happen in soft spot locations. These are places where people are not armed with guns, and they're actually been told not to have guns. People who do school shootings and they bring guns in and commit gun violence don't really go to places that people have guns, generally speaking. If you look at malls, for example, right? Malls explicitly tell you not to carry guns, and most people don't carry guns in the mall. But what happens when somebody doesn't care about the sign that says, don't carry a gun? And they come in and they have a gun and nobody else has a gun. What do you think is going to happen, Sabrina? It's going to be a killing spree because nobody can defend themselves. So why would we go and make something that could be used to eventually protect ourselves illegal? Because like even you mentioned it before when you were making your report, right? With like two dudes died from like getting stabbed by a knife. Are we gonna make knives illegal? Like where do we draw a line in the sand with that? So we have no problem in Cayman saying that you can buy a diver's knife. That's completely legal because we're gonna say, oh, you're using it to go diving, sure. Like, but then two dudes get killed. So
there's only one reported death. There's only one reported death, just for making sure we keep it real. One death.
Okay, but looking back, like let's look back like 10 years. How many knife deaths have occurred in Cayman?
There have been a number of bladed incidents. I don't have the exact stats, but one time the bladed incident was quite high. And I think it has now died down, but we had a number of gun incidents as well. And we have had a little lull. that could be a number of things because certain people, and we had a proliferation of gangs as well, and a number of them are, based on reports, have been incarcerated. So we have seen things here somewhat calm down
Yeah.
until, of
but
course,
here-
this morning.
Right. And I'm not like, listen, I'm not expecting you to know the entire stats off the top of your head. That's not the argument that I'm trying to present, right? I think that the most special gift, right, that somebody can do or give is somebody else a gun, right? They should be allowed to defend themselves in the event that somebody breaks into their home,
Mhm.
right? Because, and even it's even to protect yourself against those who do have guns illegally,
Mhm.
because you and I both know in Cayman, people have guns, right? And they don't care about the law.
Mhm.
So if they have guns and they can go up and shoot up a place, they don't care. How are we going to defend ourselves?
Mhm.
So I think, and here's my main takeaway, right? If you look at New Hampshire is a prime example of why people should have guns. 66% of the population owns guns in the state of New Hampshire, and it has the lowest crime rate there is.
Because you don't know if somebody
Why
you're
is
going to
it-
be messing with is armed or, yeah.
Yes, and there it goes back to the age-old saying, Sabrina. Good neighbors have fences.
Mm-hmm. It
So
sends
my
a
thing is,
signal.
yeah, because are you really going, like, think about it. If you know that over 60% of the population in New Hampshire has guns,
What
you
are
really
the
think
chances?
anybody in their right, yeah,
Mhm.
you think anybody's going to pull out a gun?
Mhm.
If 6 out of 10 people own a gun, no, that's suicide. That's why I'm saying, like, I think that especially for women should be advocating for guns because they're biologically weaker than men. And they have the ability to escalate deadly force quicker than a man can, legally speaking.
Mhm.
That's why I think it would benefit women even more to have guns than men, especially like the senior women. Because imagine if they get robbed or somebody try to pull a knife out on them. How are they going to defend themselves? You're going to call the police and wait 20 minutes? I could order a pizza faster than that. And
Okay.
think about the damage you can do in 5 minutes.
Mhm.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
But that's my whole take. I think Cayman should legalize guns.
All right. Well, that's a national conversation. We couldn't get pepper spray legalized because of what it is, and that's a broader conversation. That's a whole month of, and possibly I gotta add you, caller. Hold on, I want to add somebody else to the call.
Yeah, man, no problem.
But yeah, just give me a minute. I need to add this person. It's going to be interesting where we're headed in the future. I just want to make sure that this is someone who wants to participate. Good evening, caller. You're live, and I've added you to the call. What's your take? Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Sabrina.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. I just wanted to respond to the caller who just
He's
said
still on
that
the line.
death penalty-
You've been joined.
Oh, he is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll speak to you, Sabrina, because I don't want this to turn into a back and forth. So,
Okay.
I just want to respond to that caller who said that the Valentine's gift for women is a gun, and that if guns are illegal, basically making the point that if guns are illegal, knives should be too, because somebody was stabbed this morning. First, let's acknowledge the reality. We had a life lost today in Cayman. In my view, that's not a talking point. That's a family that's grieving. So I'm not comfortable using that as a prop for a political argument.
Mm-hmm.
Second, comparing guns and knives as if they're the same thing ignores context. Knives are everyday tools. You use them in kitchens, you use them in boats, you use them in construction, you use them everywhere. Guns are designed primarily to project lethal force at distance. And that distinction matters in our small island where disputes already escalate quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, you cut off. You cut off there for a minute. Our gun laws didn't just fall from the sky. All right, they exist because historically we made a choice.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want firearms widely circulating in a community where everybody knows everybody.
That will never
Once
happen, I
guns
don't
start,
think. Mm-hmm. But go ahead.
well, once guns normalize, can't easily reverse that culture. And respectfully, if the response to one stabbing is let's add more weapons into circulation, I'm not convinced that that's going to make women any safer in Cayman. Real safety comes from addressing why violence is happening in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of domestic abuse here.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of people that don't know how to resolve conflict. We have a lot of mental health issues. There are a lot of social pressures. There are a lot of all these other ills that are adding to this issue,
Mm-hmm.
not just arming people and hoping for the best. So
Mm-hmm.
if we're talking about Valentine's gifts for women in Cayman, maybe the better gift is more security, more stability, and men who can actually regulate themselves, not escalation.
Mm.
I just wanted to put that my 2 cents in.
Thank
Have a
you.
nice day.
Thank you for your feedback. Thank you so much, caller, for that. That's giving it a different approach. You have anything to weigh in on that, caller? Hello?
It sounds nice in theory. Oh, hello?
Yes.
I was gonna say it sounds nice in theory, but like in practicality, like human nature is inherently evil. You and I both know that, and you're not really gonna stop domestic violence anytime soon in this foreseeable life and in the next one. You will never ever get rid of violence, discrimination, all these things.
But you can,
But what you can do
education
is
is
defend
key.
your
Resources is key. Conflict resolution is also key. I'm not going to say it's not something that we can't reach, but I think education and access to services is also vital. But I'm going to be very blunt with you, caller. Legalizing those type of weapons, and I see your point, will not happen here.
Well,
Anytime
that's
soon.
fine.
And
If
I
you
don't
guys
want
wanna-
to use this as, like the caller says, unfortunate situation that transpired this morning as
And
the
I'm not
basis
trying
of
to
it.
use him as,
No, I know,
and
but
I'm not trying to
hence,
use the death as a
yes,
basis for it. All I'm saying is that this has been happening through and through Cayman. And if you guys are really going to stick with, oh, we can't have guns illegal, then you should follow suit with the UK and make knives illegal.
but we are ruled under, we are a British overseas jurisdiction, and anything like that has to be ran across. First of all, it's a national debate. Public consultation will have to weigh in. It'll have to actually go to the parliament for debate. There are a number of legislations that would have to be amended, and then it has to be assented to by the governor through the UK as well. So not getting into the technicalities, I don't think that would even pass its day. Even in, we have to, as Damian Hendry say, address the violence. Guns is not the answer. So, my dear, I see your side. I see all of the sides.
You're trying to solve. Yeah, but this whole argument of we need to address the core human issue. The issue is that it will never ever be changed.
How can you say that?
You cannot just, because people are not inherently good, Sabrina. People are inherently bad. If we didn't have laws and regulations to regulate people, people would do everything that is right within their own eyes. Like, you guys are, I'm not saying you, but like I'm saying Cayman adopts this worldview that people are inherently good. They're not. There's a reason why we have borders.
Mm-hmm.
So like what I'm trying to get across is that we're only good because we have laws that basically force us to be quote unquote good.
Mm-hmm. And they're still broken, and the judicial system will deal with them, because that's not the type of behavior that was intended for us to actually be. Mario says even certain knives are illegal in public. You mentioned, the diving knives and that sort of stuff. So yeah, thank you for.
But people still buy them regardless and use them.
And we will, and if they use them for the wrong things, that's what the judiciary is for. But to honestly, and I please don't misunderstand your blanket statement that in your opinion, a gun is the best gift for a woman because of protection purposes, right?
It is.
You're entitled to your opinion.
Absolutely.
I can assure you that the majority of persons within our society would disagree with you to a certain degree.
Yes, because they depend on the government to protect them. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally cool. I'm just saying that a police officer will take around 10 to 15 minutes to actually reach to the scene of a crime. What happens in those 10 to 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
How is a woman going to defend herself
Anyone.
against somebody
Right now, it
who's
could be
bigger?
anyone.
Yeah, how can anyone? Yeah, even better. How can anyone defend themselves between that 10 to 15 minute gap
Mm-hmm.
if somebody has a knife or a gun? And I'm not trying to, allude to it, but this has always been a big problem in Cayman.
It's a big problem around the world. It's just based on what legislation in place, and definitely culture and what people are willing to and not accept, and whether it's of education, showing all sides of certain things in a society. Then we got some catching up to do. But public feedback and one's opinions and the stronger voices usually have the upper hand in small island development states, as we see a proliferation of crime continue and gangs as well. And you will hear the even for those countries that allow certain things to just be open, you still have groups of people saying, we got to stop this. We got to get this under control. It's the same narrative, whether or not it's legalized or not. It's the same ask. At the end of the day,
why do police officers have guns?
to protect themselves from offenders in high escalated situations. But there's not all police officers here. Speaking about here,
Right?
They have an arms unit, tactical people, because that's just how this country is governed.
Right. And why do they have guns?
Because we realize that there are people out there that have illegal arms that's probably more high powered for them. And if they're there to protect and serve, they got a match, if not even better. I mean, to keep order, you're not gonna send them out there with a flashlight if they're doing a AK.
Exactly. So if there are people out there that have AK-47s and they don't care about the law, and the only people that do have the access to guns is this special tactical force unit, like what happens to the average Joe when they run across a dude with an AK? Do they not have the right to protect themselves just as much as the guy with the AK? I mean, just as much as the task force people?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I would love to go deeper in this conversation with you, but it's not the trajectory I wanted to go on the eve of Valentine's, whether or not you support it or not. It's just, but I respect this is Open Mic Friday. It's just not the tone I was expecting on this Friday. And not to say that it's not sound, but I am not versed enough to really come back and counter. I don't have the expertise. And I am one who loves this space to be people's opinions, but the counters, and I don't want it to get to the point where it becomes personal. And I don't like when it's, pardon me?
I'm not trying to be personal.
I don't want it to go there because at the end of the day, assumptions could be made and all that sort of stuff. And I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. You've gotten a lot of respect on this space, and I want that to maintain. So I will be coming from an informed perspective. Should I have to counter? I hate to put myself in this position because I'm the host and I value people's opinions, but for something this deep, it needs more education, more public debate. But I'm telling you right now, we can't start and go for that right now.
Yeah, no, that's fine. No problem. I'll let you guys do your thing.
All righty. Thank you as always for participating.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah. Hey, Damien, what did you say? Most states in America legalize carrying arms, but that doesn't stop the high crime rate. Yeah, I think that was one of the points that was actually given out as well that I was trying to get across. Police are authorized to use force in enforcing the law. They're trained to use it and are held accountable when firearms are discharged. We've had that conversation on this, and we've had retired police officers who shared stories as well as to what had transpired. And we went through, I think we had Denny that was giving even some scenarios as well. But to say, we need more love. I agree with you, Jim. We need love in the air mood. And I didn't expect it to go there, even though I respect his opinions. I did not really expect it to change that way. But it is open mic. I mean, this is what happens, and I want to rein it back in. Not to say that we change it because we're oblivious to whatever. No, we're not oblivious. You just read the room, read the space. It is open mic Friday. I agree. It is the eve, and I just want your feedback on the discussions but we have to be responsible as well. And I feel bottom line is just keep it as lively as we can. And I just want it to be respectful at all times. Yes. Anita Hanslop. No, I don't know who that person is. But yeah, thank you, Jimbo, for that. 345-936-8255. If you want to share out, do some shout outs, or like I said, join into the conversation as we move forward into welcoming the weekend. And I really have shared with you, that took me for a swoop, because there was just so much things circling in my head that I wanted to actually contextualize a lot of stuff, but I just wasn't prepared for that. So I'm sorry, caller, if it seemed as I was a little off. It wasn't the trajectory that I was expecting. But again, I thank you for your participation, for Alfred for calling in, and for your feedback as well. It's all welcome. What are you doing for this weekend? Your show is this evening at 10 o'clock. I'm going to definitely tune in for that. But I don't know if you guys were aware of let me try to change it just a little bit to get us back in line with what I wanted to get off here. For those of you who are not aware, I told you that this particular bill, yes, I think I'm going to go to my happy place right now. Let me just put my attention until somebody else calls in, or you want to go in another direction with another topic. 936-8255 to put my attention on really what's happening with the litter amendment bill, broken down in layman's terms. It's a very easy read. I can share the link with you right now, actually, so that you can read this for yourself. Let me just do this for you so that you can follow along with me. I hope you can get that. That link is there. And this bill is one that is out for public consultation, and your feedback is welcome for it. I've just shared the link. It looks like a lot of gibberish, but please, it's a live link from our government. And pretty much this ties into a previous episode that we had. And I didn't get the opportunity to go through this with you all in those episodes. And it's a very small document. I can see this being passed unanimously, only 11 pages long. So it's really not that hard. I told you we could probably do this about in a half hour, if not less. But pretty much what this bill is trying to do in plain language, in case you actually click on the link, is that our Cayman Islands government is proposing stronger penalties and clearer enforcement, really to tackle littering across the islands. And these changes come from recommendations by the Beautification Task Force. You may have heard about that task force, which they have been studying the impact on litter that has really brought in their attention from back in 2022. And what this bill really says, it's a quick read, to be very honest with you, but I'll try to consolidate it for you. What this bill is doing, if passed as published without any amendments, and it's all subject for amendments, and of course your feedback, is that it increases fines for littering in public or private property from $500 to $5,000 and raises the minimum jail time from 6 months to 12 months. Okay, it also increases penalties for causing someone else to litter, with fines ranging from $500 to $1,000 and up to $2,500 for repeat offenses. This bill also strengthens enforcement powers that allows environmental health officers to issue cleanup notices and impose daily fines if people do not comply. And also in this bill, It addresses derelict vehicles, all these old abandoned cars that is just either pushed out in the road for government to pick up or derelict in even on private property. What this bill is doing is that it introduces higher fines and the ability to remove abandoned cars at the owner's cost. Now that's pretty significant, right? So that's what this bill will do. And what this bill also will do, we always talking about modernizing legislation and so forth. It will, the modernized law, this will allow cabinet to create an administrative fines system, making enforcement faster and more consistent. Yes. In short, what this bill is doing, it's pretty much giving the Cayman Islands the tools that you have heard the operational arm, meaning the civil servants. I've heard it from the DEH director. I've heard it from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service as well during my time and of course on public forum. Oh, well, that falls under DEH. No, RCIPs can't do this. Da 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 da. In short, this bill really gives Cayman the tools they need to protect the environment in black and white, right? And it also keeps our communities clean and hold people accountable. And because it's now in the public's consultation phase, which is why I will make it my promise to you, as much as I understand and can break it down into layman's terms, any bills that I'm aware of, I'm going to bring them to you in a consolidated context. I'm only breaking it down in layman's terms based on what is proposed. I would not be in any position to tell you where it was derived. Should you have other questions, we can hash it out here. Should you have suggestions, I'm just going to direct you where to go to make those suggestions or have your questions being answered. But it's just pretty much to break it down in layman's terms is what I do here, and to give you my feedback, not opinion, but to deliver it in a civic educational standpoint. And so far, so good. You guys have enjoyed it. So because the public consultation phase and your voice really matters, this is a moment for each and every one. I see Jim have a suggestion here. This is a moment for residents and businesses and community groups to say what they support and make other recommendations as well, and what they're concerned about, and maybe even share what they want to improve. Now, please note that the consultation, remember, they're going to the House in March. I had announced that. I don't remember the exact date, but the consultation runs until the 5th of March. So I'm not so sure whether or not this may be one of those on the agenda, but it could be. It's only 11 pages long. I don't see why anybody would say no to this, with the exception the bill should also include throwing down cigarettes and cigar butts. Maybe this is something that those powers that be are listening to, and they could consider making it more clear of how this amendment could actually include that in it. Who to tell? Maybe that is one of those things that could be considered to be added. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. It is quite straightforward, to be honest with you, because it's broken down in different clauses. You've seen us have broken this down where it makes it very clear that it is simplifies that this bill of what the NEAM is and when it starts. And it's updating the language, of course, under clause 2, where it says instead of calling it the law, it is amending it now as an act, so that it actually, throughout the legislation, what used to be called law is now an act. And what that is just modernizing the wording so it matches the total legal standards now that Cayman has actually adopted. Because you would notice, you used to hear the immigration law, now you're hearing the Immigration Act. That is what it's also doing here. And also in clause 3, for those of you who actually clicked on the link, under section 2 of the original thing, it is, again, another little cleanup exercise, nothing major, just to clean up how the text was there as well. Now, like I said, one of the bigger penalties that is there is that the fine for littering has been increased to $5,000. So $500, what's that? But the thing is, you can make this $10 million. You got to catch these people. You got to really catch these people, or people who may witness someone doing illegal dumping. To be honest, you got to report them. And then hoping that apprehend the offenders, follow through the process, do the case files, and hopefully the judicial team will make an example out of some of these people. Really, the stats, I don't have, my recollection is that there was one case where they had the maximum penalty, I stand to be corrected, of $500 was charged. There was one case that I can remember the director of DEH pointed out to, that the person was found guilty. And that was the first time in years that they had actually levied a charge, like somebody was actually charged. So I'm quite sure this would be a welcomed piece of legislation. Should it be passed, it will make the operational arm of government or enforcement execute their duties and have it more clear as to who's responsible for what based on what these minor amendments are doing right now, because there were a lot of up for interpretation under the Traffic Act. If a car is blocking something, then, oh, it's the DEH supposed to remove it. Oh, no, it's supposed to be the police. All of that. It was just squabbling. So I'm hoping now that this narrative that is in this modernization of it will actually address and make it clear who's responsible for what, or it is very obvious that it's a collaborative approach and not playing chicken like two government agencies. You got to do it. You got more manpower and that sort of stuff. People just want it solved. So let's hope that this makes it very clear as to who's responsible for what. Hey, Ms. Rose, good evening to you. Happy Valentine's Day to you when it comes, my love. Hope you're doing well. Real Alfred says the bill should include regular civilians capturing people in the act of littering and submitting that to DEH to prosecute the individuals. I think once you report that, that is an umbrella. But if you're saying make that more clear, yes, to be honest with you. Denver says, I would like to know from your listening audience if anyone know of anyone that has been caught and charged for littering. Only one case that I'm aware of, Denver, and I said that just now. But remember back in the day where you were scared to even throw a piece of chewing gum out of the window? I know as a child, and that was big PR on the part of those days about don't be a litter bug or something like that. I can remember that. I don't remember the song, but there's something about don't be a litter bug as a young kid growing up that resonates with me. And, you just didn't want to even think about throwing anything out because the campaign was resonating. We had people come at our schools and they were telling us, and then we took home the literature and that sort of stuff. And it had us responsible. And I think we need more of that to be done as well, so that we all have a sense of responsibility. But it goes back again to a culture that we're seeing. We see the increase in population. We see an increase in traffic on our roads. We see an increase of persons carrying stuff in the back of open trucks and so forth, even though they're supposed to be properly secured, hopefully with a piece of tarpaulin and strapped down, so that as they drive or go to the landfill, that while they're going there, 3/4 isn't blown out on the side of the roads. Who is catching these offenders? Members of civil society actually see these breaches of our legislation being broken. And maybe if you get those dash cams that I hear Sandra talking about to capture some of these offenders with the registration plate, and you can see an act actually happening, as long as you're doing it safely and you yourself is not in breach of the law, and you actually have the evidence and you file a report, it should be followed through. Now, one question would ask, well, who do you file it through? Both parties have responsibilities. You could do it to the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, or you could do it to the DEH. Now, if it is something in traffic that you're seeing happening, that is something by right that you would make a formal report to the police. But if you see someone constantly, it's to file an official report for an investigation to actually cause. What I'm seeing here is that you could go to either or both. But right now, primary place would be the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. There's a lot of passing the buck. Yeah. And I'm hoping that with this legislation, it is clear that two government agencies actually talk more to each other and come to a compromise if we're going to solve these problems and apprehend offenders. Sometimes it's a lack thereof of manpower, resources as well. And maybe there's some training in case management and that probably is needing, because you got to have your evidence to get something in the courts and to get somebody really fined and to hold them accountable. Your ducks got to line up in the row and you have to present the evidence and show under the law where they're in breach. But all of your evidence has to align and connect it to that person as well, so that it makes the whole process easier, one, and more than likely the evidence before the courts, they can charge the individuals. But it does take time, and procedural wise, if any step is messed up on, you could lose a case just if you don't follow procedure. So that's all of the steps of investigation that goes forward, and everything has to be done in a procedural way in accordance to law in order for a charge to actually stick. So that's interesting. Jim says, start holding persons accountable and make example out of whoever and however many, to make people understand this type of behavior is no longer acceptable. We've been singing that from the mountaintops, to be honest, and I don't see where we have made some strides. But with this piece of modernization in legislation, maybe people will take it serious. But a lot of PR, I must say, Jim, a lot of PR is needed. Repetition helps. Not everybody is always on Facebook or will see a pop-up ad. How much of you really see these? You actually skip them before anything else. I think you need, I don't know, media and marketing has changed. And if there's 50 stations, you really need to cover all 50 stations, because you'd have some people that can't tell you the last time they've been on one station or the other. You're seeing more people actually turning now to podcasting because it's on demand. It's when they want it. They can always go back. They can freeze it. They can, and some way, somehow, the message will actually get there. But I really feel the day where there was just 1 or 3 radio stations has complicated the way in which marketing and how messaging gets across to a society. And that's where all of our marketing specialist people and advertising people got to make sure that they're on their game. Otherwise, you could be pouring hundreds, if not thousands of dollars into marketing, and you just don't reach the crowd. You just have some radio stations that people don't listen to. And this is why you're seeing social media platforms like this, YouTube, Instagram, and small chunks are actually taken off by storm and in popularity. So I think even though it was very impactful about don't be a litter bug, that campaign once upon a time ago, our whole society has changed. The dynamics have changed. How we advertise, how we market has changed since then. But I leave it up to the experts to do that. Hey, Abby, how you doing? Happy Valentine's Eve to you. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. Good to have you join us this evening on this Open Mic Friday. Maybe you want to do a shout out to somebody or even a shout out to yourself. You're welcome to do so. But just a reminder, it is Open Mic Friday. The phone lines are wide open. 345-936-8255. Whatever is burning on your chest, we welcome it. Denver says, yes, we need the promotion on littering. However, should the public not hear or know of people, being charged for littering, it will continue. This should now be headlines in the media first one, and all others caught and charged. They only, that one, Denver, was actually made the news, but it's been a while. that one, because it was a huge, to be honest with you, Denver, that was a huge success for DEH. The staff were proud because finally they had one on the records that they could say they followed through and the courts agreed. And from what I recall by memory, the full extent of the law was given where the fine was concerned. But I mean, until this law passes, that's only a $500 fine. Yeah. So 500 now to 5,000 is what is being proposed. Dumping trash on someone else's lands could now cost you up to $5,000 or a year in jail. And we've seen where, especially down by Progressive, down by J. Bodden Marlpit, down in there behind CUC, that is so close to the darn landfill. You would be amazed at how much people just actually dispose of garbage in that area on lots that are not fully developed yet. And it becomes the responsibility then of those landowners to actually clear that up. And it's no fault of theirs that people choose to illegally dump on lands there. And I know even driving on the east-west arterial heading east in my neck of the woods, you could drive down in any one of those roads and I can guarantee you could find garbage. You could either find trimmings from trees or mattress, old abandoned cars that are being scrapped. And it's just a matter of catching these people in the act that would lead to convictions is what I'm feeling. People are saying enough is enough. It's happening. Obviously, we're finding it after the fact. But it would be interesting to do an aerial tour on some of these dike roads areas. I know my MRCU guys should be able to give us a lot of feedback on that because, you know, they go through the track to larvicide and all that sort of stuff. But it would probably amaze you how much illegal dumping they see. Even the strip going to Ponciana up at High Rock, where they used to race. Oh my God, they actually had to erect no dumping signs on the mean. And people in the eastern districts was actually calling for the government to put not a temporary, like a substation for persons to be able to dump things there, and then it will be trucked then by the government to the main landfill for the eastern areas. That was just something that came about after Grace. Was it Grace? Either one of them. And it was considered at the time. It never went anywhere because here we go again. Nobody wants it in their backyard, front yard, or even on their side. And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be landfilling. It would be a temporary drop, like how you do the Christmas cleanup, something like that. But hey, speak to your representative, speak to the minister responsible for DEH, that is Miss Catherine, and to see, I mean, ask any of your representatives. They all sit together around one table anyhow. And even if they're in the opposition, they do cross paths with the sitting administration. What are we really doing on the local side when it comes? And what does this law mean in the bigger, grander scheme of things as well? Because it will not stop people's actions from happening if they decide to break the law. Denver says we only need CMR to report people caught and charged, and you'll see a huge difference. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And this is where you guys come in. This is where all of you come in. Because once you get it and you can prove it, trust me, nobody didn't want to end up on social media. It just goes all over the world. And you know how I can prove it? Hello from Germany. We got a Germany crew in. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here with us. Happy Valentine's to you. And happy weekend as well. So when I tell you that we're not limited just because I may be broadcasting here in the Cayman Islands, that you're thinking it's just here. This is accessible all over the world. We got our Australian crew, we got our UK crew, and we got Germany in the house this evening. So it's just the imported cultures and behaviors that I think we're struggling to maintain. And hopefully when it comes to national cleanliness and how our roads are maintained, how our yards are contained, how we actually process and handle garbage, household waste, and that sort of stuff, nationally, we are sending a very strong statement of who we are, And that's something that has been into us. We feel that our island no longer looks the same at the same standard of cleanliness. Now, bearing in mind, DEH has their litter crew that go in the district and they pick up rubbish on the sides of the road, literally hand by hand into some of the areas. I know during my time, funding was given, and congratulations to Minister J.E. Banks, who, and I saw one of those vehicles on the road this evening, funds were secured for him to purchase one-man operated trucks that came with like a vacuum, and that one-man operated truck didn't have to get out of the vehicle, and they could actually go and pick up garbage alongside the road in this vacuum, this vehicle. And I haven't seen them in use, but I know I saw one pass me as I was making my way back home to come live today. And I congratulate him, because instead of, you have NRA that does their side of the cleanup on our arteries, like cutting back the shrubbery and all that sort of stuff. And then you have the DEH litter crew that actually has a crew of men and women out on the roadsides early in the morning as well. Now, will that be replaced with smarter equipment? We have had proof where the litter crew has been, let's say, in Prospect on a Tuesday, and I would get on the phone by a Wednesday or Thursday, literally saying to the director back in the day, what happened? You guys are not picking up any trash along the thing for example, by Prospect Primary School? No, Minister, they were there yesterday, but the NRA crews went out and they cut the thing, and what it did, it splintered cups and bottles and papers that was actually hidden in the high bush and made them into million fine pieces. So now with NRA having this vacuum type vehicle to actually suck up all of this stuff, hopefully when their cutter goes across now, you will not see millions of bits of plastic cups and so forth that maybe our hand pickers miss because of overgrown shrubbery, is torn into million bits and pieces. So we're seeing where the government is actually investing in equipment to maintain our standards, but that garbage does not get there by itself. And it has a lot of things that has to come in play, like we say, when you're transporting stuff in the back of a truck and so forth. And outright, people throwing things out of their window. We would see KFC boxes. I've done my fair share of cleanups here in Prospect and Red Bay, and you surprise the crap that you find along the main roads. So that's a personal sense of pride that Caymanians have actually had to the top of our list when it came to protecting our cleanliness of our place. Hey, Andrew, how are you? Happy Valentine's weekend to all, he says, and to you as well. Jimbo says, and again, are the CCTVs in operational order? And is any team manning a station? Manning a station of the CCTVs, because they are actually manned for the police at a particular location. But to say looking specifically for garbage, that's going to be a joint task force. I can see it just now playing out in my head. For you to actually do that, oh my God, you would have to temporarily put cameras up in certain areas and literally have garbage spotters. That could be another job. And then you know exactly where these cameras are placed. And there you have it. But that would actually require a separate department, maybe, or because there are resources there for other things. That'll be interesting, Jim. Great idea. But to say someone just sitting there looking at monitors all over our island, just looking for apprehension of offenders where it comes to littering, I can tell you, no. And some of the high areas that is known for illegal dumping, I can assure you, even if you put up a ring camera type of thing or it's hidden, take a stop and probably move someplace else. But I get where you're coming from with this. Maybe with modern technology and all that sort of stuff, this is something that the government can actually improve. But I think just apprehending offenders and people just know that it's a no tolerance for us here in the Cayman Islands will make a world of a difference. But you got to catch them first. You got to catch them first. Yes, yes, yes. Plain and straight. Good evening. Hi, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Late to class. Happy Valentine's Eve to you. How was your day? Were you late because you were waiting or delivering bouquets, or you got so much flowers and chocolates and that sort of stuff, you just got to class late? Happy Friday to you and welcome. I love to have you all here. Jim says that needs to happen prior to moving along roadsides, mowing along roadsides instead of it being all chopped up. Yeah, that was a huge problem, Jim, that I found, because I would be literally like, Mr. Sims, what the heck? And I'm being nice now. What is this? And I said, why can't you guys talk to each other? But you got to be careful when you do that as a sitting minister of cabinet, because that's operational. And even though it's not telling them how to do their job, you're just pointing out the obvious. It's up for them to work out the logistics as a department to another department operational so that you actually solve that problem. But these are some of the things as a sitting representative you can speak to these directors. And I can tell you, they're all willing to speak to you once you're in that seat. But you can't tell them how to do their job. You can just say, look, this is what I'm seeing. Here's a suggestion. And hey, at the end of the day, you just hope they deliver. But a lot of it is frustration. And I've seen it even from the operational arm. You could have a litter crew every day in some areas. If you clean up a particular area, let's say between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m., and you go back to that specific location at 3 p.m., I can assure you, you will find litter. And that's people literally doing it. That's people doing it. So how do you catch these people? The DEH litter crew, I can assure you, has a lot of information that they can tell you on timelines, but they wouldn't be able to actually tell you who committed the offense. You see what I'm saying? But we know the public has a lot of information. Denver says, take pictures and videos, people, and forward to CMR and Sabrina. Oh, yeah. Once I get it, I can make you know. And let's get on this strong and get these people prosecuted and charged. This is an initiative to all our people immediately. I agree. Show you care about our islands. And it can, Denver, impact our tourism product. I have said here a number of times before that persons always compliment us for a number of things. The cleanliness of our roads. And I'm like, we got a lot of work to do. And they're like, no, your streets are clean. And we're like, no. This is, we're losing control of it. And they're like, and what we love about this is that you're not having anybody running up to you wanting to clean your windows. You don't have a lot of roadside vending. Yeah, they actually applaud us for that. And that's all of us that will actually keep those praises coming. So yeah, Denver, to show you that people don't notice it. I told you the other day, I saw in Japan where their streets are immaculate. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it's interesting how certain places with so much more population got their act together. Why can't we get ours? Plain and straight. The threat of very stiff financial fines and or jail time is the only thing that some people will understand. But you got to catch them first, plain and straight. You got to catch them first. The thing I think that's happening is that a lot of these dike roads, especially in the eastern districts, some places in West Bay as well, that are not frequently traveled, they can actually be subjected to illegal dumping because they're not frequently checked. And until you do a random, or like what Jim suggested, placing CCTVs up specifically for catching these offenders for illegal dumping. You don't necessarily have to see them which for a case you need to actually see them committing the act. Beyond reasonable doubt, if you have a camera strategically placed at a location where you see a vehicle going in and it's full of garbage, and within minutes the vehicle comes back and it's emptied, duh. How can you deny that? You understand? Beyond reasonable doubt. Yeah. So I think strategically, Denver is onto something that possibly to help make this, to give this piece of legislation even more teeth. Maybe that's a separate department that could be envisaged that would probably need more funding. Of course, there's always funds, and require bodies to actually catch these people. Hey, Andrew, even New York is in the house. I bet you wish you had some of this Cayman warm weather. How you doing? It's always good to have you all with us. Yeah, drop me a comment down below to let me know where you're tuning in from. Jim says the fines collected would probably cover the payroll. It's a start. It's a start, to be honest. Plain and Straight says there are some people who keep their yards where they live nasty and filled with junk trash. And you see, once Plain and Straight, I'm glad you said that, because if you're living in a neighborhood, and let's say we've heard the complaints of people who are having all of these pop-up garage and just garbage and stuff. You can have like tree limbs just in your yard and it's attracting rodents. The owners of that property can be charged once you can prove that the rodents are because of the way their yards are kept. And that's covered under the Public Health Act as well. DEH officers and or police officers right now, under whatever current laws that are in place, once you make a report, they can actually investigate that, and the homeowners, the property owners, can actually be fined for that. Worse if government has to clean it up. But they can be fined. But right now, as the current law stands, it's only $500. But what I'm saying, it's not like there isn't anything in place that should you be unfortunate to be living by someone or in an area where the neighbors are not keeping their place and it's becoming rodent infested because of derelict vehicles or just garbage in the yard. Yeah, you actually have the right to make a report, and those officers have a duty to investigate. There's a process of giving notice to clean the place, and then they follow through. And if it's not actually addressed because it's becoming a public health risk, they can actually be taken to court. Yeah, it's already in law. What this bill is doing is even giving it more teeth. Jim says, it should also be enforced on how the public has their garbage placed out by the roads, overflowing and not properly secured. Excellent point. Remember the other day I said that there was a Wheel a Bin campaign that was going on where they were doing this exercise to look at garbage being picked up in certain areas on a specific day. Let's say here in Prospect, garbage is collected on Wednesday mornings. We were part of the pilot project. And what was envisaged with those bins that had a serial number on them, you roll them out from your house, put them at the curb Tuesday night, Tuesday morning, whenever, but in time for the garbage truck to collect it on Wednesday. And once it's collected, this could be actually lift up by the truck. So our ladies and gentlemen who are working as DEH, and shout outs to all of my DEH crew, all of our guys and ladies who are working there sorting garbage, and those guys who get up no matter what the weather is like, they're out there picking up your garbage, being exposed to all sorts of liquids and all sorts of germs and stuff based on you not properly securing your trash. These are ladies and gentlemen who does a darn good job, and not often enough are being shown the love and appreciation. And if you want to show them love and appreciation, stop using thank you bags, for God's sakes, as garbage bags. Properly store your garbage, because somebody's picking it up and you're exposing them to all of that garbage and muck from your house. So I digressed. So that pilot program was supposed to collect data that you pull out the garbage can, and after it's collected, you put it back to your house. So when you look down your street, you're not seeing open garbage cans with overflowing garbage that are exposed to the elements, feral cats and chickens and dogs who would just go through, and especially if there's not properly secured. And that pilot project, now I'm quite sure the data is there. It's up for the government to decide whether or not they're going to roll that pilot project out island-wide, hoping that people will understand and appreciate its purpose. Because I could be honest with you, just as good as it looks when people, I gotta say, because you see it in order, people pull out all of their garbage cans on Tuesday evening, ready for the garbage truck to pick it up on Wednesday morning. And by Wednesday during the day, or by the time you come home from work on Wednesday evening, you pull it back and you see it. Oh my gosh, there's a difference in the roads. But what has happened is that we have some of these places that have become tenement yards, and the garbage trucks that pick up the garbage, let's say on Wednesday morning, when you pass there Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, you have to wonder if the garbage truck came the Wednesday. And that brought the other question whether or not these densely populated areas would require garbage collection now instead of once a week, twice a week. That may not be the need for all over the island, but definitely in certain areas, there is no question whether or not they could do with garbage collection twice a week. But again, it's up for the government whether or not they will fund the DEH department in order to do that, whether they would need more resources, more equipment to make that. But I feel it properly aligns with this piece of legislation. Now let's put the funding along with it, and then maybe that'll lessen and beautify our areas more as well. Andrew says, no easy way to deal with this situation, just nasty people doing this, and we cannot change those people. Harsh fines and community service once caught, put them in orange suits and let them be seen, shame and fine. I really feel, to be honest, some of the community services that they need to be out there in the broiling sun collecting the garbage. If I had my way, that would be some of the community service. All these litter crews that they got out, not in the early morning. They should be out there in the day picking up the garbage. I'm just saying that's what needs to be done. Because, and worse, if they catch doing it, have them do it. Remember what we were saying about the landscapers using the blowers and blowing the shavings and the clippings from the grass into all of these drains? It's the same principle. If they're caught doing that, there should be a fine for that as well, because that's not helping us. And using the blowers to blow the stuff in the middle of the road, that is the dumbest thing for me, because where you think it's going to blow back? If I drive across and you're blowing it in the street, the backflow wind from my car passing you blows it right back into the yard. So make it make sense. Those are little things that, never keep me up at night, but there's a bee in my bonnet. It just doesn't make sense. Denver says, compared to many, if not all other Caribbean islands, we are extremely clean, and visitors compliment us because they see the littering on all the other islands, but not here. Yeah, Denver, it's true. And some of them, especially when they're coming off the cruise ships, it all depends on what their last port of call was. When they come here, they're like, wow, your streets are immaculate. And we're like, no, they're not. But so it's amazing. That is positive feedback. And that is one thing we want to keep. That is definitely one thing we want to keep up there. I'm great in yourself. I'm thankful. Good to have you here with us. And just please keep safe. Denver says, at $5,000 fine, we could create a department to monitor CCTV cameras for a year or two, as I'm sure after a couple of years, people will clean up their act. Yes, Denver, quite right. And at the end of the day, once they know that these areas are being monitored, and like what you rightfully say, Neem and Sheem, get couple who are actually charged in the court of law, and you put them out there in the orange, blue, green, yellow, whatever suits you want. It could be rainbow for all I'm concerned, and let them start doing the job of our ladies and gentlemen from the DEH. Then they'll stop. There's something amazing when we participate in those early morning cleanup exercises. And I've had school boys and girls join me on a lot of those and a lot of groups. And it's amazing the sense of pride and the feedback that you get from persons of how good they feel the next morning. They drive out and they know, for example, I was down in that road and oh my God, the road is clean. You know how much bags of garbage I picked up from there. You know how much bottles I picked up from there. And there's just a sense of pride after you do those community cleanups, right? Those roadside cleanup. So yeah, but it got to get there by somebody. And that's where we need to actually stop it. Got a question here on WhatsApp. Will those garbage bins be rolled out nationwide? That was the plan. I got some, and it would be free. And based on the size of your house would determine how much bins. I think for the pilot, it was only one per household. Some got a maximum of 2 based on the size. And then there were some as well during the pilot that if you realize where there was multi-occupied persons, then you would be recommended, or the proper receptacles from DEH would be appropriately placed at your location as long as you had the proper infrastructure in place. Okay. Residential areas, I know you didn't ask, I'm just giving you some more context. Residential houses that were converted to be multi-occupant dwellings, those were where bigger conversations were being had, but they were still given the right instructions of how to properly keep those, handle their garbage. But yes, at the end of the day, with the data collected on the pilot, it is envisaged that this Wheel a Bin project is rolled out island-wide. So every place wanting to participate, because it wasn't mandatory, they would have the right of registering, get your bin assigned to you, so that I didn't sign up for the program. You signed up, but I like the bin. And then I would go and take yours, or go to another district and see somebody with it. And then I take it to mine. Yeah, it would have a serial number on it. So yeah, that was the plan, to roll it out nationwide. Plain and straight. Exactly right, Jim. That is so gross. And I don't want to know, I don't know how people can stand to live in a place where the garbage cans are overflowing and trash is spewed all over the place. Now, you know, another thing, you're talking about trash, dog poop. When these people walk their dogs and they collect their bags and stuff and they just whoop, into an open lot, whoop, or overgrown, that is nasty. And worse, if you're walking your dog and you pick up their poop and you then choose to toss it in somebody else's receptacle, but miss, yeah. And then I'm responsible for picking up your stuff because it didn't go into my garbage can. That's rude. I think you should take your own poop with you. For all of you pet lovers who are guilty of doing this, please, I'm begging you. I have no problem with you putting your poop in my receptacle out there, but make sure it gets in, because that's nasty. Or take it with you at your own house. So yeah, but that's another thing. Picking up after your pets is another big issue in some areas. We know people like to take our strolls and walks, and some of these dogs are, oof, what they let out is almost the size of humans, if not bigger. Just pick it up. Just pick it up. But yeah, that is something that just irks me. Yeah. And our landfill is full, and we are close to 100, to a population of 100,000. One person creates 1 ton of garbage per year. Do the math. A lot. And a lot of things, Andrew, that we throw away can be repurposed. And in an age, that's just facts. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks. What's on your mind? Happy Valentine's Eve.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, girl.
Somebody told me that you cannot see your dining room table because that big, those red buggies, that was so big with red roses that you got delivered today. I heard it.
Somebody lied.
You couldn't just play along. It's called imagination.
Valentine's Day yet? Tomorrow's Valentine's
No,
Day.
that was on the part 1.
Happy Valentine's Eve.
That was on the part 1, I hear. That was on the part 1.
Oh, that's how they doing it this year?
Yeah.
Okay.
They do part 1 and then they do part 2. Mm-hmm.
And I guess Sunday will be part 3 then, with brunch.
That way you call the whole weekend. I just letting all of your business out there. It's a good thing I have a damn good imagination. What's on your mind, my love?
So on the topic of pet peeves, taking it not even a step further, but I guess an adjacent point. The DEH, when they come by and they take the garbage bags out of your receptacle, some of them, but it is not their practice, and it is actually their policy to only remove bags or things that are in bags, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that annoys the hell out of me, because I have 2 large barrels that I use by my yard, and people will just walk across and throw the beer bottle in it, or like you said, the dog poop bag in it. And DEH guys do not bend down or pick that up and dump that up.
They're not supposed to. That's not what they're supposed to do. Yeah.
Every once or twice a year, the nasty practice of having to go dig deep in the bottom of the bin and get all of the stuff that whoever felt free to just walk across and throw freely. And when I practice very much, I don't throw anything loose in mine. I'm always putting, of course, everything in, and not even you said thank you bag. Call it what? It's a scandal bag. Into the bin. I use my proper garbage bags. But just say all that to say this: we walk across a bin and we think, okay, we're throwing our garbage, and the mindset is they're doing the right thing, but it's not the right thing, because what the debris that they throw in there just sits in the bottom of that bin, of that barrel, that container, that whatever people have, right? Unless a very kind DEH person is going to decide to put in a little extra effort and hoist that out of the wooden container. In my personal
in your case,
and that is not an easy thing, because it's a pretty close fitting wooden thing as well. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, right? So I just wanted to throw that out there, that please don't walk past people's yard and just feel like you can throw your garbage in their receptacles. Carrot, where you going?
Yeah, that is something. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think I said that earlier on. I'm hearing that I lost Facebook, so let me just re-add it. Just let me re-add the Facebook on CMR. Let's add you back here. Sorry, I don't know. Sometimes that happens. My apologies. I've just restarted it. Thank you for letting me know that. It's being re-added. There we go. So there we go. I've just re-added it. Sorry, we had a glitch. So I've just re-added you guys. Sorry if we had a drop off there. Not sure what's going on here, but let me re-add it. Let me re-add both of these. Some people are going to be in the doghouse sleeping Valentine's weekend. Really? You think? Okay, there we go. Connie says we're back. I'm back. There we go. Not so sure what's going on there, but I'm still getting messages through Facebook, Jim. Maybe like wishful thinking, read big old bouquet of rose on the dining room table. I was just was really fascinating with her, to be honest. It's called imagination. But yeah, I feel what she is saying, to be honest, in regards to people just doing that. And let me make it clear. Let me make it clear. The DEH staff is not there to clean up your garbage from in your garbage enclosures. That's not their job. They are there to empty your garbage bins and asking you or hoping you will have the respect to properly use the right bags, use the right bags to dispose of your garbage. The Wheel a Bin project, because it lessens injuries on the ladies and gentlemen who work to collect our garbage, was designed in a way that those men and women would not have to literally, physically either put their hands down if you have a drum and take out the garbage and put it in the back of the car if this is rolled out nationwide, across Grand Cayman and the Cayman Islands. The truck was equipped with an arm that it would actually pick up the bin and toss it in. That lessens injuries, but it also protected our men and women from any slush, any gunk, any liquids that could actually have been trapped into those pans. And another thing, if you have receptacles, if your garbage can is not, because you weren't in the pilot program, if you have garbage cans that you have there for collection, please remember to just drill a hole or 2 holes in the bottom of them. So should it rain or should any leakages of juices from your bags drop out, that it would actually not make the garbage cans heavy. I have personally witnessed in cleanups that just so happens either the night before or we've had rains for days prior and we do these community cleanups. And I have seen trash cans almost 3/4 full of water. Yes, water. And that is subjecting our neighborhoods for mosquito-borne viruses as well. And again, it's exposing to our ladies and gentlemen who work at the DEH to all sorts of sicknesses, ringworm. But look at what it's doing right in the front of your yard. So these are some of the things as well. And Jim, what she was speaking about is persons who actually empty beer bottles and stuff into her garbage can, but they're loose. They're not contained in bags. And then she is responsible for emptying that herself. She cleans out her drums pretty much once a year or whenever it's just too much to bear and people taking their dog poop and emptying it. She's asking people, just take your garbage with you wherever you go and stop using hers. Just take your garbage with you is what was asked. So that was really what you missed. Mm-hmm. So yeah, at the end of the day, that's another thing. Just make sure that you bore a hole in the bottom of your receptacles. Clean and straight. My pets are not supposed to be other people's pests. Irresponsible pet owners are a problem. And I say that as an animal lover. Yeah, it's true, plain and straight. Thank you for sharing that. Some people are going to be in, Andrew. Mm-hmm. Well, because they couldn't keep up with all them flowers that my last caller got. Mm-hmm. Oh, Lord. Got you back. Andrew said, their duty is to collect the garbage, hence garbage collector, not cleaner. Thank you for clarifying that. And Jim, isn't there a limit of garbage receptacles and size of your household? Yes, there is a limit. Based on the size of the property and complexes will determine whether or not you need one of those big old green things that DEH can supply. And you know what is quite interesting? Only commercial properties pay a fee. Household, we no longer charge for the collection of garbage for picking up household stuff. Remember, once upon a time, it was $50 to collect your garbage. And I don't think that's being done anymore. Commercial locations, restaurants, that sort of stuff, big apartment complex, if they so choose to use private persons do the collections, then of course that would incur a fee. But remember, nationally, there used to be a fee once upon a time. Can you imagine now if they introduce that again and we still don't? That's interesting. Have you seen, go back to memory, have you seen a decline in how our roads were kept when we were paying a garbage fee versus now that we're not paying garbage fees? Have you seen a decline? I wonder if that would balance it out. Or maybe people would only litter then. Look, I'm not the expert here, but it would be interesting to do a deep dive on that to see if when we were paying for garbage collection. And some ideas were, okay, attaching it onto some of the utility bills, that sort of stuff. And, you know, but what happens to those persons who say that they take their garbage to the garbage dump themselves and they don't need collection? That would be an interesting talk this day and age. Very interesting. But it would be something that worth looking into. And whether or not, but I'm telling you, the data is there right now based on the pilot that took place here between Red Bay and Prospect. And the reason why those particular roads were chosen is because you have single dwelling, you have multi-complexes, you had commercial as well. When you look at the catchment area that was chosen, you could get an idea of behaviors and practices that could actually look at Cayman on a broader scale to determine what best suits. And that was the reason that between Red Bay and Prospect were chosen, because of how the population was actually made up, how it was made up. And you had different income brackets as well that you could find within those catchment areas to see how each area is actually kept. But we did get an overwhelming support from this platform that they do agree and persons would support twice a week garbage collections in those highly populated areas where you actually have, where once a week collection is just not enough. That's it. Aliano, how you doing? How much bouquets you actually went and buy today, or how much you receive? How much colognes you receive? You? I want to hear it. I want to hear it from you. You need to give me an update. You hear? Miss Sabrina, this is a bleed over from a last segment you had, but cleaning one's yard. The issue is low tier mindset individuals from substandard society. Yeah, it is, Aliano. And because it's open mic, that's why. They come with a bad social culture, which is the true problem. You was right. Yeah, thank you. But we got to break that. And with this bill, I was going into the bill, Aliano, and the link is there. It's only 11 pages, did I say? Was it 11 pages? The bill, the one to increase the fines. Yeah, 11 pages long. It's in the link below, Aliano, so you can catch up. It's a very easy read. And hopefully this is one that will be passed in the House unanimously with no objections, probably more additions. Jim says, well, then, when you have 8, 10, 12 or more people in one household, 2 or 3 bedroom units, there is nowhere their garbage will fit in 1 or 2 garbage receptacles, hence the overflow all over the area, which I have witnessed myself alongside roadways. Yeah, you're quite right. And that was some of the data that was also received, because you're actually walking in some neighborhoods and houses that were originally constructed for 3, 4, let's say 5 household, let's push it to 5 household members. Now, as you rightfully say, you probably have 10, 12 people living in what was originally designed for a 5 people household. And that is what has changed. So who do you hold responsible? The landlords, the original owners, for properly securing the garbage, and for them to have the necessary infrastructure put in place, because they have changed the dynamics of what their house was originally, or their structure was originally approved for. Andrew said government needs to reintroduce that, especially for rental properties. The garbage collectors can set up an ID scan of the property that does not comply with the conditions under which they are to carry their duties. And you have a staff within DEH that do actually, they take reports from their staff as well. It's just, where does it go and how do we apprehend these offenders? There's so much tiers and layers to how we handle trash, but I think this is a start. This is we're heading in the right direction with what this bill is proposing. To say that much more can't be done is an understatement. So there we go. Vicky Joy, hello, the tenant do not dispose their garbage properly. It would help almost. Yeah, I think it's because of the mixed cultures that we're having here that they don't understand. And we brought that from another episode as well. Where imported cultures, what they're accustomed to from where they're coming from, and our high standards here are not the same. And that's where the problem lies, to be honest. Yes, Jim says, yes, the landlords find them. I love doing this. Aliano, they are many times in at my location to make sure they don't throw out meat and food kind, but they do. Don't throw liquid in the trash, but they do stop throwing one bottle in the trash. But I don't know why. It's a norm sometimes. Remember, some countries, they don't even have the collections as frequent as we do, and they burn their garbage. Once upon a time, that used to be here, but no more, Vicky Joyce, welcome. How are you? Where I live is 14 rooms, and there is only 5 bins for garbage. How is it maintained, though, Vicky Joy? Do you feel that that's enough or not enough? 14 rooms for 5 bins. And how do you have it would be interesting to see how that is managed, whether or not you have an issue. Tartarian says, got my Brute cologne ready and no date. We'll be all dressed up and nowhere to go. You never can tell. Take a stroll out. Be surprised who you might bump into. It may be that season. Jim says, the landlord is responsible party. Who has the control on who and how many they are renting to? Yes, you're quite right. And that is why I feel that there are broader legislations now to actually cover this will actually make its head one of these days. Small steps. I still have faith. We will get there. Jim says, is that 14 rooms considered a single family dwelling? It would be interesting. Not enough. Big issue. Oh, interesting. Well, if you're not pleased with that, you can make, but poor you, I don't want to subject you because that's where you're living. But these are some of it would be interesting if you can privately message me. If you can privately message me or send me a WhatsApp, 345-936-8255 is the number. To let me know where this is. I will protect you as well. I won't give your name, of course. You can share with me your exact location. And I could have the DEH actually go and look at that. But that is going to be an area. And thank you for pointing that out on this. And we can definitely look at that. Yes. You got a question? Post it up there. And if I can answer, I will, definitely. But it's at 6:58. We have come to the end of another episode of Sabrina Speaks here on this Open Mic Friday. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for sticking with me in this love season. Plain and straight, what do you got to say? It's not just the people who come here. I've had to explain to young Caymanians that they are not supposed to throw those loose trash in garbage cans. Clean and straight. We even had somebody who works in the education system that have witnessed even the children will throw their garbage beside the garbage receptacle in the schools, and they actually don't care. So I agree with you. We got a lot of, training to do. And you just can't understand why people would do that. When you have 5 or more people to a 3-bedroom property, how can that be sanitary? You're quite right. Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, that brings me to a close of Sabrina Speaks for this week of love. Heading into the weekend of more love. And it will continue throughout the coming weeks and years to come. It has been my pleasure bringing you another episode of Sabrina Speaks. I am wishing everyone a very blessed evening. Please be safe on our roads. To all of our frontline staff, persons in uniform, thank you for your service and all that you do. And responsibility is everybody's responsibility. Being responsible is everybody's responsibility. Until Monday, which is a short week next week because Wednesday is Ash Wednesday, I want to wish you all a fabulous evening. I want to make sure God bless, send you blessings. And again, love you lots. Stay blessed and see you on Monday.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, K-Man, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.